Hey guys, I'm DeCarolis. I'm here with Nick Loveland and two guest stars, Brandon Bachman and Evan Lewis. Guys, welcome to the show.
How you doing, Drew?
Thank you for having us.
Yup. Alright, so first we're going to talk about hockey with Nick Loveland. Nick?
Alright, Drew, well, your Rangers were able to force Game 7 against the
They were.
Pittsburgh Penguins.
I told you.
They were able to come out on top, which surprised a lot of people. I mean, you had a series where Sidney Crosby, who's normally a very high-scoring, very forward-moving player, was not really able to do anything, only scored once, so you have that. Now you have the Rangers going up against the Canadiens, and that's tough. You have the team with the most Stanley Cup banners in the league going up against a team like the Rangers. This is the first time that matchup has happened since 1996. So there's a lot of excitement going forward with that. But you know, in the Western Conference, you have the Chicago Blackhawks edging out the Minnesota Wild in a 4-2 series, and now we have Game 7 tonight, which we are now in the Ducks and the LA Kings. Most people would lean towards the Ducks win. Most people would want that because eventually, you know, there would be a chance if you would get, like, let's say a Rangers-Kings Stanley Cup final. Yeah. Those two teams play a very boring game, so it would be a very slow-moving game. So for the entertainment factor, one would hope that it would end up being Chicago Canadiens for the final, and I have to say I'm leaning towards Chicago winning for the second time in 2 years and the third time in as many as 5 years.
Well, hopefully we can prove you wrong again, Nick. All right, so let's go to Evan with baseball. What's going on in baseball, Evan?
Well, Drew, the Subway Series is just wrapped up. Yankees stole the first, Mets stole the first two. Yankees stole the next two.
Mm-hmm.
Two pitchers last night with no big league experience, both threw gems. That's a really good sign.
No clue who they were.
For the Yankees and the Mets. Another good sign for the Yankees, a young player who goes by the name of Yangervis Solarte. I call him Never Nervous Yangervis. He is currently tied for the American League batting average with Victor Martinez. He's looking like a really, really good player. Since it's Jeter's last year, we may see him at shortstop next year.
Maybe, man. He was the last person to make the Yankees roster, and look at what he's doing.
I can't believe it. A guy who barely made it out of spring training is really making a difference for the Yankees early on. Yankees and Mets both not doing so well, hovering around 500, both looking for maybe a breakout player to really excel them forward. Yankees have Tanaka, who looks masterful, and Solarte, as I said. The Mets are just barely scraping by, looking for that one player to come up from maybe the minors and make a difference.
I mean, when you have a bullpen like the Mets bullpen that really blows it every game.
Oh, it's tough. The Mets bullpen is as bad as I've seen it in a while, and they're really looking for their young arms to come up and make a difference. They have a few players coming up. Syndergaard's going to come up later. They had DeGrom come up. And really, you know, they can make a difference if the young arms are as good as people say they are.
Yeah. How about your Red Sox, Evan? How are they doing?
Hey, they're doing the same as the Yankees and the Mets, hovering around 500, looking to just break out. They lost in a walk-off yesterday, but they did come all the way back in the ninth, which is a good sign. I think the Red Sox can do well, but they're in a very, in my opinion, the toughest division of baseball with the Yankees, the Rays, the Orioles, and the Blue Jays. Those are teams you can never count out. So
yeah, it's a tough division.
It'll be interesting to see who wins that division.
All right, thanks, Evan. Brandon, what do you got for us today?
Last night there was 2 Game 6s in the NBA. It was Thunder against the Clippers. The Thunder just beat out the Clippers. It was very surprising with the whole situation with Donald Sterling.
Yeah.
We all thought the Clippers would pull out through because of the whole situation, but unfortunate for the Clippers. They had a great season. Thunder are going to be playing the Spurs. It's going to be a tough matchup. 2 years ago they played against each other, but the Thunder had James Harden, so it might be that might be a difference maker for the Thunder. Yeah.
You think it's going to be good or bad? I don't know. James Harden was good, but with the Rockets this year, he kind of struggled, didn't he?
Yeah.
I don't think, like with the Rockets this year, I don't think they did that well. I mean, they made it in the playoffs, but the Trailblazers beat them out, and that was very surprising as well. And also last night, it was the Pacers versus the Wizards, another great matchup. The Wizards looked like they're doing good in the beginning of the postseason, but they blew it against the Pacers when the Pacers weren't looking that good in the beginning. And the Pacers did great against the Wizards. They're going to be playing a very tough matchup against the Heat. I think the Heat are going to pull through, and also I think the Thunder will pull through and have a finals 2 years ago.
All right, thanks, Brandon.
Well, you know, Drew, really quickly too.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about the Clippers, going back to the whole, Donald Sterling
Yeah,
thing.
that was a
I mean,
mess.
that was a monstrosity. I mean, he says, don't bring black people to my games. I don't, want black people there.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Just reading this, he gave an interview to CNN about 2 nights ago where he was talking about himself. And, he says, the players don't hate me, the sponsors don't hate me, the fans don't hate me, the media hates me. But then he goes on to say something like, and this is when he's talking about Magic Johnson, and this is Donald Sterling's quote, not mine. He says, he acts so holy, I mean, he made love to every girl in every city in America, and he had AIDS. I just don't think he's a good example for the children of LA. He would go and do what he did and then get AIDS.
Wow.
So, I mean, you have someone like Donald Sterling saying, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say these things, but then he goes on and says something else in reference to Magic Johnson.
That's horrible.
A very backhanded apology by Donald Sterling.
I mean, do you think he should lose his team?
Yes, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, he
The
should.
players do hate him, as LeBron
Yeah,
has said.
his
Chris
I mean, that
Paul
protest
said.
that his players had too.
Yeah, of course his players hate him.
They definitely hate
But
him.
I mean, shouldn't we have a right to say what we want?
We should, and
Yeah, I mean, in the privacy of our own homes too, because it's not like he went out, on the middle of the basketball court and said, I don't want black people at my games. He said that in private.
I mean, if you think like that, then it's your business, but don't say it out loud. Keep it in your thoughts. That's just my opinion on that. I don't know.
Just a rude guy. Should have been kicked out of the league years ago. You don't say something like that. You don't.
Well, he did have previous incidents.
Yeah,
too,
he did.
where
Yeah,
had
he
raised
should have been
himself
kicked out a very long time ago. Disgusting man.
All right, so
Oh, well, no, I was just going to say, it's not the first time race in sports has been a problem.
yeah.
And
Unfortunately.
I mean, especially in a
Unfortunately.
league like you have someone like the NFL too, with
My-
the Dolphins, the incident, and Michael Sam. like you
Michael
were
Sam,
saying.
that's where I was just going to. So football, Michael Sam. What was he drafted? 259th? He has had more news coverage than any 259th pick I've ever seen.
He also has the second most selling for his jersey.
What do you guys think on him? What do you think?
It's a shame because I feel that if he didn't come out, I think he would have gotten drafted much higher. I think not just because he's gay, but because no team wanted that added media attention like Tebow. No team really wanted that extra baggage.
Besides the Jets.
Unfortunately. So it's a shame he went so far, and I don't think he's going to start because the Rams have an amazing defensive line. And if he makes the team,
You think
was
he
he going to
makes-
be on kickoff?
Yeah, you think he makes the team?
I think he makes the team
I think he
and
makes the
ends
team
up
as well.
being a backup. But,
Yeah.
I don't think necessarily his worth dropped only because he was gay. I mean, he didn't exactly have a great combine performance.
That's
Yeah,
true.
horrible.
So, I mean, when you
Horrible.
look at that, but the Dolphins had to suspend a player and fine him. I don't remember his name. He's obviously not a significant person at all.
Mhm.
But he went on, he was acting like he was horrified. And the whole thing with the video, Michael Sam, kissing his boyfriend when he got drafted, every NFL player under the sun when they get drafted kisses their girlfriend.
Yeah.
So, you have people saying, oh, they were really going at it, blah, blah. It was innocent.
Yeah,
No one really...
It was a peck.
Yeah, and you have people tweeting their children watching
Oh my
everything.
gosh.
But you know what? It goes to what about the children of gay parents that were watching that too? You don't think about everything, and you have people saying, Tim Tebow couldn't get on a team because of his biblical thoughts, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
People trying to make a big deal out of it than it actually is.
Yeah, it's a shame. All right, so that'll wrap it up for us. For everyone else, I'm Drew DeCarolis. We'll see you next week.